Hello, and welcome to another edition of Journey to Stewardship, where we learn to be good stewards of what God has entrusted to us. I'm your host, the Reverend Doctor, and tonight we want to talk about the riches that God allows you to have. Your riches really can deceive you, that they can make you think that you're more than what you are. That most people say that, the stuff make you. No, you should make it. The money shouldn't make you. You should make the money. And it doesn't matter what it is. So tonight we're going to talk about being deceived by your riches. Now, God has entrusted a lot to us. And He entrusted some of us with more than others. But that does not mean that we're any better than them or any worse than them. That does not matter. What happens is that we must understand what God entrusts to us and our riches. Now, Revelation 3:17, you say, I am rich with everything I want. I don't need a thing. And you don't realize that spiritually you are wretched and miserable and poor and blind and naked. That's kind of paraphrasing a little bit, but you say that you got everything you need. You got everything you want. You don't need a thing. Well, where's God in your life? Those riches are not going to be around forever. They're just not going to be around forever. Now, the Bible says that when you say you got everything you need, physical, riches, but spiritually you're dead. And then what good is that to you? What good is it? I mean, money and houses and cars. Yes, you need a house, a place to sleep, and you need transportation and a little bit of money in the bank. But what does that make you a good person? No, it does not. God entrusted you with that. What are you going to do with what God has entrusted to you? In Mark chapter 8 says, what good is a man that he gains the whole world and loses his soul? You put all your marbles in one bag, as they say. Your riches will deceive you. Your riches will make you think that you're more than what you are, and you're not. So what good does it do you if you got all these riches and you lose your soul? What good is it? Well, you surely can't buy your way into heaven. You surely can't buy God's love. He already entrusted you with things. He already loves us, so He already entrusts us with things. So what are we going to do? Are we good stewards with what He's entrusted to us? And we're not being good stewards when we let our riches deceive us to think we're better than somebody else. Mark chapter 4, verses 18 and 19 says, others, like seed sown among thorns, hear the word, but the worries of this life, the deceitfulness of wealth, and the desires for other things come in and choke the word, making it unfruitful. Say you hear the word, but you let the cares of this world, of this life, and your riches, gaining riches, they deceive you. And the word cannot prosper in you. The word cannot prosper. The cares of this life and you going after your riches and the deceitfulness of your riches, it chokes the word out of you and make you unfruitful. So we got to be better stewards with that. We got to be better. We got to be better. Okay. Luke 12 and 15. Jesus said, watch out. Be on your guard against all kinds of greed. A man's life does not consist in the abundance of his possessions. So you got a lot. You got more than everybody else in relations. So God had trusted you with a lot. So now, is that you? Is that your life? Now, as they say, the more we got, the more we want. That's greed. Now, I'm not saying you can't have nice things. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is don't let those nice things make you. That's not your life. God entrusted those things to you. So what are you going to do with them? Are you being good stewards with God has entrusted you with? We must be good stewards. And Jesus said, be on the guard. Watch out. Don't become greedy. Don't become greedy. Don't become greedy. Proverbs 23:4-5 says, don't weary yourself trying to get rich. Why waste your time? Riches can disappear as though they had wings of a bird. Spend all your time trying to get ahead. Spend all your time to make sure that nobody gets in front of you. Spend all your time and look at what you got. Nothing. Those riches take wings like a bird. Fly away. Take wings like a bird. Gone. Gone. Think about it. The first time you got your paycheck, first time you got a big paycheck, it's gone. You thought you had it going on, but then that was gone. So then you find yourself having to work more and more and more, and now you lose touch with God. But God entrusts those things to you. So don't let what God entrusts you deceive you to think that, you spend all your time. God entrusts those things to you. Ecclesiastes 5:11 says, the more you have, the more you spend, right up to the limits of your income. So what is the advantage of wealth, except perhaps to watch it as it runs through your fingers? And that's right. If we make $100 a week, we will spend $100 a week. And if we use credit cards, we make $100 a week, we'll spend $120 a week. So we spend right up to our limit, trying to, we're trying to keep up with the Joneses. The only way to keep up with the Joneses is you got to know where they're going. They might be going to the poorhouse, as they say. But what about what God entrusted to you? How do you become prosperous with what God entrusts you with? It don't take a lot. It don't take a lot. It don't take a lot. 1 Timothy 6:10 says the love of money is the first step toward all kinds of sin. Some people have even turned away from God because of their love for it, and as a result have pierced themselves with many sorrows. The love of money. Some people would do anything for the love of money. I remember the OJs had a song out, Love of Money. The almighty dollar. He said, and there's a line in there that says, for a small piece of paper, it carries a lot of weight. The mighty dollar. But if we spend our time going after that dollar, what happens when we get it? And who all do we step on to get it? See, if God entrusts you with it, you don't have to go out of your way. God will make it come to you. But you have to be good stewards of what He's already entrusted you with. If He entrusted you with this much and you were a faithful steward, then He's going to give you a little bit more. And you find yourself with twice as much. And you can't give it away fast enough. You can't give it away fast enough. Galatians 6:8 says, if a person sows to please his own wrong desires, he will be planting seeds of evil, and he will surely reap a harvest of spiritual decay and death. Sowing seeds for your wrong desire. Now, I'm not saying that, that you can't have good things. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is to be careful of what you do. Don't let the nice car and the nice house and some money in the bank and nice clothes, and all that good stuff like that. Don't let that be who you are. Because sometimes, they say, a jerk with money is just a rich jerk. That's all he is. That doesn't make him a good person. It doesn't make him a good person. Don't let your riches deceive you. Don't let what God entrusted to you make you think you're more than what you are. Don't let God down. Don't let God down. God entrusts you with a lot. God has entrusted you with riches. He's entrusted you with things that you never thought you would have. But are you a good steward with that? Well, we have to be good stewards. And one of the things is don't let your riches deceive you to thinking that you're more than what you are. You just got more, you just got bigger cars than everybody, nicer cars. You just got a bigger house than some people. You remember, no matter how big your house is, somebody else got a house a little bit bigger. No matter how fancy a car you drive, somebody else got one that's a little bit more fancier. But when God entrusts you with things, then the house, it doesn't matter what size the house is. When God entrusts you with things, it doesn't matter what size or how fancy the car is. When God entrusts things to you, what are you going to do with them? What are you going to do? Are you going to be good stewards? Are you going to let the riches that you acquire, that God allows you to have for this short span we call life, what does it do? What is it doing? Do you feel that makes you better than anybody? Surely not. Because your riches will deceive you. Because one day you can have it and the next day it's gone. A man on his deathbed cannot buy another moment of life. You can't buy it. And the old joke, the old running joke is a rich man, was on his deathbed and his daughter asked him, what does he need? What does he want? He said, a clear conscience and a good night's sleep. He realized that everything that he had, all the riches meant nothing when he's on his deathbed. Those riches will deceive you. I mean, you spend all your time running after riches. You spend all your time neglecting your families and spending time with your children and those small things to go after these things. But what happens when you get them? Does that make you a good father now? Or a good husband? No, it doesn't. That just means that you're the same person you were. You just got these things now. And these things really don't add any value to you as a person. But God has allowed you to have these things for the short span we call life. Because I can guarantee you that when the death angel makes that call, no amount of money you have in the bank, no size of the house, or what cars you got out in the driveway, none of that matters. But you spent all your life trying to get those things. And you missed your opportunity. You missed your opportunity. Something I want you to think about. The poorest man in the world is a man who has nothing but money. He's the poorest man in the world. Now you might say, well, I got a lot of money and that. No. You think with your money that you're that person, but you're not. The money made you. Well, what happens when the money is gone? You know, they say when we have money, we have a whole lot of friends. But what happens when the money is gone? Where the friends at now? They realize that you don't have anything, so they leave you alone. So that meant that they weren't your friends anyway. They were just hanging around to see what they could get. But see, God entrusts things to us. And are we good stewards? Are we good stewards of what God has entrusted to us? Now, what I want you to do is take sit down and analyze what God has given you. I want you to sit down and take a look at your life and see what God has given you. And you can write things down. I mean, you can, you ain't got to report them to me. All I'm saying is that God has done a lot for you. But what are you doing for him? Are you giving him his portion? Are you giving him his 10%? Remember, God's testing. Testing. And he'll open the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing. You ain't got room enough to receive it. And we say, well, look at them over there. They prospering. They don't go to church. They don't even believe in God. They prospering over there. And I go to church all the time and I love God and I'm saved and all of that. But I'm not prospering. Why, God? God said the riches that they got was fleeting. Fleeting. It'll be gone in no time. At the drop of a hat, it's gone. But what God entrusts you with will always be there. What God entrusts you with, it'll never run out. When you give to God, he'll make sure that you always have it to give. Your time, your talent, your monies. He'll make sure that you always have it to give. So tonight, don't let your riches or what you have, your materialistic stuff, don't let that get in the way of being a good steward for God. Don't let that get in the way. Being a good steward for God. Don't let your riches, the stuff that you got, deceive you. It could be here today and gone tomorrow. Then what? Something you should think about. Well, the clock on the wall says I got to go. And again, I'll make my plea that you go out on YouTube, search for Pastor Jeffrey Goodeye, and hit the subscribe button. What that means is that you will, every time I put a video on YouTube, you get a notification. I'm trying to get to the next level of YouTube. And they say that I need 1,000 subscribers. So I'm asking you, those who are listening to this, is that you go out to YouTube, search for Pastor Jeffrey Goodine, and click subscribe. And you'll see some videos out there of me. And don't laugh. But that's back when I was first doing this, practicing, getting ready for this. And now it's here. So please, tell your friends, your family members, your enemies, everybody to go out to YouTube, search for Pastor Jeffrey Goodine, and hit the subscribe button and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. For those of you that have already done it, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Well, I got to go. And I always sign off by saying, well done, thy good and faithful servant.